To protect and serve. Ready to move out.
Good game going here. Doing pretty well, holding my own. Nothing can go wrong now. Nothing.
I can see the Statue of Liberty from here.
A power surge of great magnitude has been detected.
Wait a minute. What's this? What is this? What is that? A missile? Where'd it come from? Come on. Oh, I hate this crap. What is this? Super weapons or something? I don't know. Let me see if I can disable this or something. There we go. That'll take care of it.
I can't stand it when she touches me.
Power surge of great magnitude has been detected.
Number 6. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. TMNT 2, the arcade game, yeah. This is one of those games I played to death back in the day. This is also one of those games where I played the arcade version first. Much like I did with Pit Fighter, except Pit Fighter ended up being the worst arcade to console port ever made. We won't talk about that.
We now return to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
This is one of those, the arcade I actually managed to play. It was in a bar of all places. My parents used to go to a bar, some bar back in the day. I think it was called Scorecard Harry's in my city. I could be wrong, I forget now, such a long time ago. It used to be this bar where the only reason I wanted to go there was to play this arcade. That was it. My parents, they want to go out for dinner half the time. I was like, no, because they drag me out and I'd be bored to death because they take their time drinking their beer, and I'm like, can we hurry up and go? But if they said to this particular restaurant, which I can forget what it is, I'd be like, oh yeah, I want to go, yeah, just so I could play the arcade game the whole night. Yeah, it was really, really fun. I remember I used to be good at the arcade back in the day, but I tried playing the emulated main port, and I suck. It's like that with any games I play today. Also, talking about that restaurant, this is a restaurant where I actually managed to get my finger stuck in a door frame. It looks like this, and bent it completely backwards. How the hell does anyone manage to do this? Well, I don't know, you're talking about me here, so... So, going back to the game, when I heard there's an NES port coming out for this game, I blew my mind. I'm like, oh, I gotta get this. And of course, back then, the graphics compared to the arcade to me looked absolutely stunning. And they were, because you're talking about the NES here, an 8-bit system. And this is the best you're going to get, or the next closest thing you're going to get to arcade graphics, right? And this was absolutely amazing, I thought. So the minute this game came out, of course, everyone's trying to rent it. It was hard to rent, hard to get your hands on. But it's also one of those games that you really had to figure out a strategy for taking these guys out, because if you'll notice, I actually looked it up on Wikipedia, the NES port is a lot longer than the arcade port. There's extra levels and bonus stuff to this game, extra enemies even too, that the arcade did not have. So the strategy I ended up coming up with, which was very tedious and made the game somewhat boring, because I just kept doing this back and forth jump kick on every single enemy. I timed their attacks appropriately, so I knew exactly when to jump and kick them. I did this with bosses too, except with the bosses it was a lot harder, because no matter what technique you did with the jump kick, they always hit you away. As you'll notice with some of the bosses, like these rock guys, I'll put their names here. But even then, with the default lives that you have, it's almost impossible to beat it. For me, especially when you fight Krang. Oh my god.
Nothing can stop the almighty Krang!
Now the force field will make me invincible. Help! Get me out of here!
But anyway, so what I always end up doing is the Guardiane E typical, I just cheated. Yep, good old Konami cheat codes. Anyone who's old school like me will know what that is. Good old Konami type games have these type of cheat codes. I actually thought it was the exact same thing as Contra, but apparently it's slightly different.
Up, down, left, right, B, A, start. Then we'll have unlimited lives.
Otherwise, surprisingly, I didn't use Game Genie, which I did have back then. I didn't have to go that far to cheat, but I would have if I had to, because I just cheated everything. I don't care. It's only one life. The frig do I care? Now, in terms of gameplay, it's quite clear the arcade version is a hell of a lot harder, and naturally so. When you go play the arcade, they obviously want you to pop more money in there, as many quarters as possible to milk you dry, right? So they have to make it really hard. But it's always nice, like in any arcade game, they start off with the first level being really, really easy, right? Just to keep you like, oh yeah, I'm really good at this game, this is no problem. Put more money in. Second level onward, you can already start telling how much harder it starts to get. The enemies fight back.
Okay, USA.
A lot more, and especially in later levels, we'll say like when you're on the highway, or whatever that's supposed to be, it's like merciless. Even the Technodrome fights, it just gets ridiculous. Like how the hell, if I didn't have 1,000,000 quarters, am I supposed to beat this game? It's like, even if you knew all the perfect attacks and the jump kick technique like I use in the NES, it doesn't friggin' apply here. It doesn't matter. But no, nevertheless, it's fun. And luckily, using MAME, the arcade emulator, you can just pop in as many damn virtual money as you want until you beat the freaking game. So that's always nice. The NES version obviously is not as hard, but it still has its challenges. So let's talk about the differences between the arcade version and the NES port. Because back then I wouldn't remember the differences at all, since playing the arcade version was very difficult to actually get a chance to do. So my parents want to go to that bar. So the NES port includes 2 new levels. First part of Scene 3 and all of Scene 6. This is going from Wikipedia. I guess like the one snow level with that lizard dog guy at the end throwing boulders at you. And then that's that robotic samurai level with the weird robot tigers and the boss that has its head come off after you. Those were extra levels. They also did some, like, it changed some bosses around, like instead of fighting Bebop and Rocksteady in that one parking lot level, you end up fighting Baxter Stockman instead. You fight him twice in this game, actually. Once in the sewers, and once again as a mutated fly form. So I'm glad they actually extended the NES port and made it a lot bigger. That was really cool that they did that, because they could have kept it simple and just did a straight port, replicated port, but they went out of their way to make it a much better version. I also read up that I guess the NES port had Pizza Hut logos everywhere, which I do remember, surprisingly. I guess they must have got a lot of money for that. But were they not in the arcade version? I have to check. Nope, I guess it doesn't. That's kind of weird. Oh wait, what's this? Cowabunga, coupon for free personal pan pizza. Oh, that's why the Pizza Hut logo is everywhere. I guess they offered you a free coupon when you bought the game, which I never bought it, so I never got that coupon. Wait, what is this also? Void in Quebec and Mexico. What, did Donald Trump sponsor this? Come on. I had to throw at least one Trump joke in this. Come on. Another thing I noticed, which is really freaking stupid and no one cares, but it's me we're talking about here, is that suddenly the bosses toward the end of the game all have this yelling death explosion. Even the robot with no head. You know, and strangely enough, I can't help but feel that Shredder in the NES port version of the game looks a lot better. It looks more menacing and dark. You can't even see his face.
The man with no face.
And he looks like broader and tougher, whereas the arcade version, he looks more like the cartoon character, which I guess is what they're aiming for, but looks like a lanky, weak fuck. You know, like that's what I didn't like about the cartoon sometimes. That Shredder was just a big dumbass, always failing at everything, and wasn't at all menacing or scary.
Hey, cut that out!
Whereas in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, I'm like, oh, he actually is scary, angry, crazy dude. Which, yeah, I guess is what they meant for him to be in the actual original comic book series as well, but
He dies.
I guess when you make a cartoon for kids, you gotta kind of tame him down a little bit, make him like a waste-of-life character that has total failure as a boss.
How did I ever get teamed up with an imbecile like you?
But, again, I liked how they portrayed him in the NES port. I thought he was a lot better looking. Out of all the songs from the game's soundtrack, which isn't a lot, it's meant to be an arcade game, my favorite was the boss theme. Next was a Shredder theme, but strangely enough, the arcade port version of it was too slow, I thought. And the NES version is a lot faster, and it actually sounds almost a little more menacing. But then we're talking about video game music here. I don't know, I like video game music, so I actually went out of my way and took the arcade port and fly! Well, I guess that about wraps it up. I mean, what else can I say about this game? If I had to pick a favorite of the two, I'd probably say the NES port, only because I have more nostalgia or more memories with it, seeing as I could play it at home. There's additional stages, additional bosses, the Pizza Hut logos, Shredder looks cooler, and last but not least, it's not Pit Fighter.
You die.
number?
No.